Hi everyone, so I kind of wanted to introduce this video kind of before I got into it. Basically what happened here was someone who is supposedly Dedra Ambrose's fiance, husband, I'm not entirely sure, boyfriend, basically had contacted me on Instagram saying that they were, Jeremy Ambrose, and they wanted to talk to me about the situation that was going on. So of course I agreed to talk to them, because if somebody from my stories comes out and says, like, hey, I am this person, I want to talk to you about this, I'm obviously going to, want to talk to them more, provided they are, civil and whatever. So he had messaged me via this Instagram, which at the time that he messaged me, this Instagram page was brand new, just opened like a few hours before he had messaged me, so I was a little skeptical. But he explained that, I haven't been on Instagram before, but as soon as I heard about this, I knew I had to contact you somehow. Don't know why you wouldn't just message me via, like, YouTube, but whatever. So he contacted me, and he said that he wanted to talk about it. So I'm going to share all of those DMs with you now. I'm going to read them out loud for those of you who have trouble reading or want to listen to this instead of, like, watching. But I will also have screenshots of those messages up here. And the account is called Crazy Old Gamer, with periods where the spaces would be. Right now they have 2 posts. They didn't have any posts at the time of them messaging me, but they have 2 now. One of them is Dedra Ambrose's supposed service dog Snow, and the other one, with a cat, and the other one is a picture of a car. So I will be reading those screenshots, and I'm just going to let you guys know that this guy, if he is who he says he is, that's great, but he didn't show me, like, an ID, he didn't show me, like, the Facebook page that he said was up, doesn't exist. He said that there was a Facebook page with his name and in a certain location. I looked that up, that Facebook page doesn't exist. With all the things that he said that it would have. I don't know if maybe it's one of the Facebook profiles that I found that was, like, basically all private. Can't find it. I checked again today, still can't find it. I checked, even, like, in case he might have blocked me, like, on accident, like, beforehand. I checked using somebody else's Facebook page that doesn't have any, doesn't even have a service dog, wouldn't be involved in this at all. Facebook still doesn't exist. Since they're not married, I can't check to see if they have a marriage license, so that's something that I can't check. And you never see any men in any of Dedra's videos, so I can't, like, confirm that this is the same guy. No idea. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that he is who's in the picture. There's a picture that he sent, that I won't be blurring, because I did inform him that I would be showing everything, so not going to blur it. If they really, if they file a privacy complaint or something, I probably will, but I'm not going to at the moment. But I'm pretty sure that he is the guy in the picture, but I have no, records of saying that he's involved with Dedra at all, other than, like, him saying he is. And then I also don't really know if anything that he's saying is true, because he doesn't have any proof. I waited several days after he sent these messages to make this video, to give him the chance to send me proof of anything. He didn't. I sent proof of police reports that were filed, and I sent pictures of things that B-Town had sent me regarding police reports. He basically didn't really even acknowledge. So his first message to me on Monday was, "Greetings. Firstly, let me introduce myself. This is the real voice behind Dedra's fiance. I'm uncertain who it was that you had previously heard from." I think he's talking about the voicemails that I got from him a while back. "I would be happy to speak with you regarding any claims, rumored statements, or thoughts about the situation. Additionally, as I live with Dedra and have been present during this entire fiasco, I can provide you with all the information on her side. Personally, I don't really believe in somebody providing information for, like, their fiance or something like that. If that person wants to make a claim or discuss something, they should do it themselves. I'm not one to make death threats, instead leaving law enforcement to handle any issues that pose a threat to me or my family. I have a hard time believing that last part, since Dedra does it kind of all the time, and the voice that has been on my, voicemails that I got from B-Town's number that was stolen by Dedra, that was supposedly stolen by Dedra. I have no doubt that this is the guy who did it, because if he didn't, then he'd be able to prove it, but, or somebody would be able to prove that it wasn't them that left the voicemails, but so far that hasn't come about. Unfortunately, I work throughout the day in a job that prevents me from having phone calls, but this coming Saturday I can spend some time in that capacity. While I do admit that Dedra's anger is quick to come and that drives her conversation skills when it happens, I'm almost coldly logical. Not meaning to pester, I'm making a polite request before heading into work and being mostly incommunicado, though I will respond as soon as possible to any messages. I would greatly appreciate it if you talk with me before you post anything further regarding this particular matter. Thank you. Now, just to kind of address what he was saying, I'm not the kind of person who will, not post just because somebody tells me to. So if I find more information, I'm going to post it. I did speak with him before I made another video. Or actually, that's not true. He and I were talking, I was actually making the video for the first person who contacted me from the community, that first anonymous person who made the video. So I was making that as we were speaking, so, I'm not somebody who will, hold back information if I have it, because, that's not the kind of channel that I am. I'm very open about the information that I have, so. At that point in time, I did message him back saying, hey, I'm a little hesitant to believe you since the account you're messaging me looks like it's been created last night and you have no posts. I'm willing to talk with you, but I am not going to stop posting about this issue if that's what you want to speak about. He says, that's because I did make this Instagram this morning. I don't use Instagram or Twitter. I'm not into social media that much, but I can understand and appreciate your caution. Is there something that I can provide to help prove my identity before moving forward? And I said, I guess not, since I can't ask for your Facebook or YouTube account, because as far as I know, he doesn't have a YouTube, because he did say that he wasn't really avid on social media, and I don't want to dox him or anything, so, I don't want to ask for his Facebook, because I didn't want to, give out his location or anything about him without him being okay with it, because that's just not the kind of person that I am. So I basically expected him to not really be able to prove that it was him, because he kind of couldn't, because unless he shared an ID or something which would dox his location, unless he shared something that would give away something personal about himself, I wouldn't be able to prove that it was actually Jeremy Abrose, Dedra Ambrose's fiance. He said, YouTube won't help anyway. I don't create vlogs. Facebook has several pictures of me. Can I create a photo now and then have you compare it against Facebook? Perhaps write something down and then have a picture of me holding that item. And I said, I suppose that would work, because that makes sense. It would kind of, identify who he is. And he said, okay, let me get some paper and pen. I'll let you know when I'm ready, and you tell me what you want written. I'll take the picture and send it immediately. Okay, what do you want written? I said, I guess, hi, Arlo, because that doesn't give out any information about me or him or whatever. And then he sent me a picture. So this is the photograph that he sent me. You can see his tag thing there, and he wrote on a piece of paper, it says, hi, Arlo. So I'm guessing that this is the person that he says that he is. But in the end, I didn't have a Facebook to compare it to. We do kind of go through talking about oh, well, this is what it should say, and this is what the Facebook should be, and whatever. I couldn't find it. Still can't find it. So, we know that this is a picture of him, and that's what his name is, and that's his work tag and whatever, but that's the most that we... At that point, I said, all right, and he said, and Jeremy Abrose is my Facebook. Should see one that says I work for Vegas. I can't find you, but that's all right. You sure? I don't want any concerns over who I say I am. I want to ensure you're comfortable with who I am, and I said, I believe you. I don't necessarily believe him, but there's not much else I can do about it. He said, thank you. Then I warned him that I usually don't talk to people involved in this case or situation without recording it, just letting you know, which is true. And he said, quite all right. Anything said here, I give you permission to use. Additionally, if I don't know something as a definite fact, I'll tell you, regardless of whether it involves my fiancé or not. To be honest with you, the fact that he said that was weird, because am I just supposed to, like, believe him? And then also, to that point as well, why is he talking about anything that doesn't involve Dedra? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And I said, okay. I ask for proof of anything usually, so unless I have proof when I use something in a video, I'll say it's speculation, or it's what the person said, but it might not be true. So he said, okay, and I said, so what exactly were you wanting to talk about? He said, I would like to address any and all statements, rumors, or facts regarding Dedra. I said, okay, well, I guess watch my videos on the subject. There's 2 that discuss her. And he said, firstly, something that is not known. We live in a master submissive relationship, which, by the way, I didn't need to know that. Like that's not something that I need to know for this, like, at all. I didn't need to know that. Very consensual. However, there is nothing that goes on that I am not made aware of. I have passwords for all her accounts and can at any time review this information to include email and phone logs, which, like, okay, I understand that kind of sexual relationship, but does that not seem like, I don't know, kind of sketch? Like, if he knows literally everything about your life, that's kind of, like, if he knows all your passwords and stuff, what happens if you guys break up? Like, oh my god. Email and phone logs, and she only has one phone. I've seen the videos, and the one you posted with Sarah yesterday is what prompted me to create this account and reach out to you. So the one he's talking about is the B-Town interview that I did, that was basically Sarah and I talking about, like, what was going on and addressing, like, a couple of the rumors that have been brought up in the comments, etc. And I said, okay. And he said, I would like to apologize for the voicemail that you received from the man that was threatening you. Well, that was neither me nor anyone that I'm aware of. That was uncalled for. So, first of all, I can track IP addresses. I know where the phone call came from. Originally it sounded like it was Brad from B-Town, but we discerned that it wasn't. And in order for it to sound like a man, Dedra would either have to use a voice changer, which could have happened. Not saying that couldn't have happened. We just speculated that it was her fiance. She would have had to use a voice changer, or there would have to be somebody else involved in this case that has a male voice. Okay? So those are the 2 options. And I said, I do have an IP address for the location that the messages came from, which is true. When I called the police in my area, they were able to track down the specific, like, phone. I'm not sure exactly all of, like, the specifics, because, like, I know IP addresses and stuff like that for, like, Instagram accounts and YouTube, but the phone stuff isn't something that I, like, do on a daily basis. So the police tracked down the numbers that were used, like, to track the phones, I guess, through phone companies, so you can tell what phone company it's through and what, if you bring in a broken phone to, like, a Verizon store, they can tell you, like, who the phone belongs to, based on, like, looking up the number in their databases. So the police were able to get those tracking numbers, I guess, is what I'm going to call them. And the messages came from, there were several, some to me and some to Danielle. So I do know the exact location that the calls were made from, and this was actually the point in which I called the police officer that is working on the case, so that I could have all the correct information to give him. And he said, are they from Arizona? And I said, yes. They're from the same location that Dedra's YouTube account and her Instagram account are, and I did confirm that with the police using the IP addresses that I had for the Lakota SBS account, Dedra's original Instagram that I believe she's blocked me from now, and Dedra's YouTube that I used videos from in my previous video. I do not know if she has any other accounts. I'm sorry, those are the only ones that I know of. And then he said, I can assure you that I am the only other person that lives in the house aside from Dedra. Do you still have the number that called? I'm not after it. One moment, need to pick Dedra up from the hospital. And I said, okay. I didn't respond to his message because in order to give him the number that I received the calls from would be giving him B-Town's number. So I wasn't going to do that. because that's not okay. At this point, Dedra already has that number, so she should already know what it is. So then I said, and yes, I have the number. It was a number created using a Text Now account, meaning she could put any number in that she wanted, and the number was B-Town Paranormal, Sarah's number. But after speaking with her, we know that they didn't come from her. She has released her phone records already. Because she had given me permission to look at her phone records if I needed to in order to believe her. And also, when I did call the police, they did inform me that this type of thing could happen, and that it was likely a Text Now account because that's one of the only apps that you can use to create an account and use any number, even ones that are like used by a phone already. So he said, so I have the IP address for our house. Additionally, I have the IP address for her phone. So those two numbers, the IP address is actually the same. So if they are on the same home network, they're going to be the same. So because it isn't an IP address for the device, it's an IP address for the modem of the house. So I guess when I said previously that those accounts were Dedra's, that all the accounts were Dedra's, they could have been her husband's or somebody else living in the house. But the IP address is actually attached to the modem that's used for wireless internet connectivity in the house. So the phone wouldn't have a separate IP address. It would have a separate tracking number, as I mentioned earlier, that the phone companies have and keep like record of like for each phone. And then he said, oh, I'm also a network admin type of guy. I don't know what you mean by network admin type of guy. Like, are you a network admin? Is that your job or not? Like, military service was spent building and maintaining computer networks. I'll provide you with the network ID, the first three numbers when it comes to computers. Yeah, that's not, I mean, network ID doesn't really mean anything because a network ID doesn't give you location. So it doesn't tell you like where exactly it's coming from. It just tells you like, because network IDs can be like used with a couple different things to make them look like they're from a different location. So the numbers that he was giving me, I couldn't prove that they were right or wrong, so I didn't really, trust him that much. At this point, the officer that I was talking with told me not to give him any information unless it was like, something pretty obvious that he could look up by himself. So I said that I didn't have the address. I said I had to dig it up, which isn't necessarily true. But I don't want to give out like somebody's IP address, It comes to computers, first two on mobile phone, and she's on the home network. Unless she's out and about town with a friend, you can just say whether or not those match. And then he said, okay, second thing I'd like to address that people are unable to follow. Dedra has a dead husband. She also has an abusive ex that went to jail, and part of the reason she doesn't use her real name online, as she helped put him in jail. And I said, okay, is there any proof of that? Not that I don't necessarily believe that she has a dead husband or whatever, or the abusive ex. I just need some sort of proof because I can't prove that she was, I can't prove everything that happened with these people. He said, not that I don't believe you, but I don't think anyone else will unless there's proof. And he said, which part? And I said, the dead husband and the abusive ex, like literally the whole thing. An obituary, court proceedings, anything. Even like a name of a person, I could look them up on CCAP and see if they had their will read in court, or if they went to jail. I can look that stuff up even just with a name. I can provide evidence regarding the dead husband, as she does have his death certificate. I am uncertain if she has anything tangible regarding her ex being put in jail. So that's definitely not true, because if she did help that, then she would receive a copy of the court proceedings. However, if she doesn't have that, then I can't, say that that's true or not. All I can provide regarding that is what her family has verbally attested to on phone calls. I said, if you CCAP his name, then his jail sentence would be there. He said, correct, I can do that. But at present, I don't have his full name to look that information up. Who doesn't have their fiance's ex-husband's full name? Like, apparently, they've been together apparently a long time. Because, if you look on, her YouTube videos, like from like a couple years ago, she says like that she has a fiance and stuff. If this is the same guy, then what the heck? Like, it's been a while. In regards to the vile Instagram account, Lakota is BS. I'm willing to testify in front of a court that the account never belonged to her. That testifying in front of a court, like saying that you would do that, doesn't really mean that much. Just letting you know. Finding no evidence that she ever had access to the account. Attempting to access the Gmail account associated with it, meaning he knows that the account has a Gmail account. Like, I'm not gonna go and like, oh, he knows this or whatever. Even if he doesn't know and Dedra is just lying to him, then like, how do you know what the Gmail account is? Like, or trying to log into the account itself with all known passwords that she uses are not successful. Okay, but you might not know. She literally could be lying to you. I understand that it's easier to just assume that the person that you love is telling the truth all the time. I know it's so much easier to assume that, but it's not always true. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't know what else to tell you. Additionally, the only Instagram account assigned to her phone is the Dedra Marchetti account that she has. I do not know who else might have been responsible for maintaining that account. So that part made me laugh so hard when I got it, because I was like, oh my god, you can log out of Instagram accounts. Oh my god, I know, it's crazy, I know, but you can log out of Instagram accounts. You can. It's pretty wild that you can do that. I just can't, only like the coolest people know how to log out of Instagram accounts. Okay, I'm sorry, that's rude, but seriously. I do have on police record that she admitted to owning that account, but if you believe differently, I understand, because I can totally see that, somebody being so in love with somebody that they would be like, no, that's not true, never the case, you can't, she didn't lie about it, doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter what police records say, they faked the admission, I can imagine him thinking stuff like that. So I was trying to be as understanding as possible. Do you have the police record number? We have talked to the police several times here regarding this matter, and there are no local records regarding this. That is false. I know where they live, and I even just got it confirmed. Like, even if the IP addresses didn't confirm it enough, he confirmed it again when he told me where they lived. Like, on his face, like, supposedly his supposed Facebook account. So, and yes, there are records. I'm sorry. I literally just gave you guys their information that they gave me, or at least this guy's. Who knows? He could be lying. He could know that I couldn't have found the Facebook. I don't know. He just doxed himself, basically. I have the record number in front of me, or I don't have the record number in front of me, but I will get it for you, which the guy that I was on the phone with, the police officer, was telling me that it was my choice whether or not to give him this record number, because he could find it himself, but to have it like on this video, so that I know that I gave it to this guy, then who knows. Now this part may come across as rude, but I said, was there anything that you had proof for? I wasn't trying to come across as rude. I read it later and realized that he might have perceived it that way. He said, trying to think right now what it is that we have not covered that I would have. While I do not have physical proof, I'm willing to attest in court that several of the posts made on Lakota BS were made when she was at a movie, at dinner, or she was sleeping. Not all, of course, but multiple posts, meaning even should she have been responsible for posting to the account, it was not solely her account. Again, neither proving, not disproving that statement that she posted to it. So, just the things that he said that were, like, he said that he would attest in court or whatever, but then suddenly, like, now it's, now, oh, well, maybe, it just, the way that he was talking just didn't make me believe him, really. So I said, okay, did you know that you can schedule posts to be posted publicly at a certain time? You don't need to be using Instagram or even have your phone for them to go up by themselves. We scheduled them ahead of time to post by themselves later. He said, yes, I was aware. I looked into things when this started happening. And so I said, okay, because like if you knew that, then you wouldn't have said the thing that you just said about that, like supposedly proving that she didn't have the account, because she wouldn't have been able to post. I don't know. I will also say that Dedra is very computer illiterate. From what I've researched, she would need to convert the account to a business account first or use a third-party program to do the same thing. If there's another way, please let me know, as I've not found evidence of such, and none of those third-party programs have been installed on her phone. First of all, you would have no evidence of them being installed on her phone unless you went like through her credit card and found out that she hadn't made like an Apple purchase within like the entire time that the account had existed. Because you can delete apps off of your phone and then you can remove them so that they won't show that you even purchased them on the App Store. By very computer illiterate, I mean that I'd have to walk her through how to adjust settings on her YouTube and Facebook accounts. She could have been acting, she could have been, just wanting you to help. Maybe those are things that she doesn't know. I don't really know how to work Facebook, but I would say that I'm pretty computer literate on YouTube or Instagram. So, it could just be a different platform. I said I'm pretty sure she would know how to do it, just because she's done some stuff on Instagram before that have made me think that she must know, even on her personal account. And then he said, well, as I can offer no proof aside from my statement, I'll have to respectfully disagree, so I will not be able to disapprove that matter. And I said, okay. I responded with, so you have no proof for any of your allegations whatsoever? And he said, as to the matter of text now, you cannot use it with another person's phone number. This is from their website. So he totally ignored my question. And then I said, yes, you can. I have already called their help number and asked. They informed me that you can give a name to your number, and that name could be a phone number of another person. So the name could have been the B-Town number that she had been using. And then he said, and calls made using it will not show up on your phone bill. And I said, you're right, but you can track an IP address to it. What I meant was the phone tracking number. And you can see what apps a phone has had and does have. He said, okay, since I can access her phone once I get home, I'll check for the app that she would have had to install and would be listed even if uninstalled on her account. So that's not true. The app may still not be listed because she could have deleted it from her iTunes as well, because you can remove apps that are showed as purchased on the App Store. Though, since it was a man's voice, I'll attest that it's likely not going to be there. So, I don't know how that has anything to do with it. So, until you can verify those IP addresses against what you have, neither one of us can confirm or deny it was sent from our house. That's not true. I can confirm it. She admitted it. It's on tape. Please have the records. Again, I'm just wanting this to be over regardless of who is at fault. Well, I'm glad that you want it to be over. I don't know what you want me to do about it. Because it's not, even if you are Dedra's fiance, you're not involved. This is your wife. You're not involved, or your girlfriend, whatever. You're not involved. So, you don't really have a choice. I'm hardly involved, so I am more than happy to work with whomever is willing to work with me on this. The reason that I am kind of confused by that is because I do know that B-Town has tried to contact him before and work with him on this to tell him, hey, please stop contacting me, tell her to stop contacting me. And I guess he was unresponsive before, so that's, kind of surprising to me. She has been instructed not to interact with either you or Sarah until I tell her otherwise. I will be checking on her social accounts and call history regularly while this is being settled. That makes me concerned because that does seem kind of bordering on controlling behavior that would be considered abuse. Then I responded with, she literally admitted it to the police. For me, a police report with a recorded confession is enough. For me, it is. I don't know about other people. Other people want to see receipts and whatever, and I'm sure that the police report, they did a further investigation. But I don't want to really share all of that because again, he could have been lying about his location, so who knows, I understand that is the claim. However, as I am not asking you to believe any of my statements without the evidence I say I reserve the same. As you have been told by Sarah, she claims to have filed reports against Dedra. That's not exactly true because she filed reports against her, but I also did. But there are no such reports to be found, whether a fault by our local authorities or a false claim by Sarah. I have no evidence of either, or maybe you didn't look or you're lying. Just a suggestion. If provided with that police case number that does pull up a valid police case, I would have no choice but to accept such. Have not gave autocorrect strikes again. So then I sent him the 2 photos that B-Town Paranormal sent to me, which are police, I believe they're police record numbers that they filed. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but I believe they're police records. When I gave them to my, the officer that I've been speaking to about my case against Dedra, they said that they had those already and they didn't need them anymore because they already had the numbers or something after doing a CCAP on her. So they said they didn't need them, but I sent them to him because that was all that I had at the time because I was not at home during this time. I was somewhere else speaking with the officer on the phone, so yeah. Now, I did not give him the number for the police case that I filed for several reasons. Number one, because if he wasn't who he said he was, then he would know what the police record case number was, and the police officer had told me not to share too much of the information with anyone that wasn't like obviously involved. And like, since I didn't know who this guy was, I didn't know if he was involved or if he was, not. I mean, even if he is her fiance, that doesn't necessarily make him involved, you know what I mean? Because like, he's not like her lawyer or anything, and he didn't own any of the accounts or anything like that. So, or we don't know that he owned any of the accounts or anything like that. So, yeah. Secondly, that gives out where I live and my full name. And I don't want to give that out to people that I don't know. Sue me. So, especially people who have threatened me in the way that they did. I eventually will show those text messages that I received from Sarah's number, and I will you guys will see why I don't want to meet these people ever. At that point, I had said that I would give him a phone number for a different officer, so the phone number that B-Town had given me for their officer running their case, and I said that I would give them that, and then the officer that I was on the phone with told me to not give them any more information no matter what it was. Because if they had literally no proof, then they were really concerned, like they didn't have anything, and Facebook didn't exist and stuff. So I told him that I would give it to him before I knew that I shouldn't say anything. So after this, I didn't say anything else. There's no other messages after this so far, as of today, which is September 21st. And all of the proof that he said that he would get, he didn't. I didn't receive any of it. So yeah. Okay, guys. Sorry for the really long video that doesn't really show too much drama. Not very exciting. But I did want to tell you guys this because I like to remain as open as possible about anything that goes on with this case, especially since my officer is telling me that it's a good idea to stay very open about it and stay very honest and keep everything documented. So I wanted to document this in the best way possible. There's always the possibility that he could delete account. If you delete the account, you can no longer access the messages that were sent to you from that account. So I'm documenting this before he deletes it, just in case he does, so that I can stay on top of it just in case we do end up going to court. As of right now, I doubt that's going to happen. Confessed already. She's been given her warning. If she continues, then it'll become a bigger problem, but so far I haven't received anything else from that text now number that she made. So, yeah. If I do receive anything else, obviously I will make another video. So far, right now, this is... I remember last time I was telling you I'm making another video on this case. That's true. I made this one. And then I do have another part of the Danielle saga that I have to make because I made the part one of the timeline. And I have more of those that I need to make as well. But so far, I haven't had the time really to do that. So, yeah. However, it is really looking up on a time scale. I've got a little bit of time tomorrow, maybe even later today, to make a little bit of an update to the timeline outline that I have, which if you guys don't know, I have everything that happened in a Google outline, all the links to videos and stuff that I need to use. So I have time to update that a little bit to be current, because the last time I worked on it was, part 1. Stuff's gone down since then. So yeah. So I will work on that a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow. Hopefully get part 2 of the timeline started pretty soon. I don't know how far that's going to go, because the thing is the first video, an hour long. I don't want to make another hour long video. So if I have to break it up into more than just, part 1 and part 2, then I will. So I'm hoping to make it into a half-hour video. If it needs to be longer than that to get out all the information, then I will probably make it into more than another part. I'll make it into more parts than just 2. So yeah, that's the hope. Again, if you guys want to share your thoughts on this, if you have any evidence, any screenshots, anything, please comment it down below in the comment section, and I will take a look at it. Or you can just message me on Instagram, and I will take a look at it there as well. And then we can kind of chat about how you would like to send that to me so that I can use it in a future video. If you want to remain anonymous, that is always an option, just letting you know. Both of the previous people that I've spoken with chose to remain anonymous. And I'm looking at having a third person speak as well. Hopefully they send me something. And then, I don't know if I'll want to remain anonymous or not, but yeah. Leave a like button if you liked this video. Leave a dislike if you disliked this video. Just like I dislike, I don't know, the state of our economy. Engagement is engagement, folks. Engagement is engagement. Make sure you subscribe down below and hit the bell icon so that you get a notification every single time that we post, and you do not miss any more of the scalding hot tea, because I'm sure that you wouldn't want to miss that, right? And also, I will leave the links to the playlist for this topic down below as well, because I heard that some people were having issues finding that. And I obviously don't want that, because, that's not great. I would rather people be able to find it. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!